I'm doing a t-shirt transformation video, and I'm going to be using this band shirt by the band Moonlit Sailor, and it is a Fruit of the Loom tee in a size large, so it is rather big on me, and I bought it big on purpose. I'm going to start by cutting both of the sleeves completely off. Next step is to cut off the neckline as well. And I don't want it to go too high up, so I'm gonna cut it a little bit lower down, but I'm not gonna ruin the logo, of course. So I cut it halfway across, like to the middle of the patch, and then I fold it over, and then just follow that line so that the cut matches for both halves. If you don't want to do this next step, which is going to be quite different from any other t-shirt transformation I've done, you can keep your straps thick or you can cut them thin or do whatever you like. What I'm going to do now is cut into these and make tiny little strips in this direction, and then they're going to fall down over my shoulder but stay up at the same time. I'm making these about 1 centimeter each in thickness. And then repeat that for the other side. Once the strips have been cut, if you tug on each and every one of them, the seams should let go, like this. Just split open since you cut through it. So they're all open now. Give each and every one a little bit of a tug so that you get them more like spaghetti strap-ish rather than flat. Do that for both sides. Then it's time to tie them back together again, and if you want, you can just tie them back together with the other part of the pair that they were originally with, or you can cross tie them, which means that you'll switch over every other and you'll get a little bit of a cross, or you can try to braid them or do whatever you like. I'm just going to keep it simple today and just tie them back together as they were, and I'm going to tie them loosely, which means I'm not going to like pull down all the way, because then we lose that looseness and the kind of over the shoulder thing that I am going for. So I'm just tying a little knot and then making that a double knot, and there we go. So I'm just going to keep doing that for all of my straps. Once you're done with both sides, it's time to continue on with the rest of the t-shirt. And I'm going to use a similar technique that we used for the straps up here in the back. So what I'm going to do is fold it in half, and then only picking up one of these two layers, keeping my fingers where the fold is, so that we get this. Opens up the t-shirt completely. So this is the middle of the back now. What we're going to do now is get out our scissors again and then cut slits all throughout the back. If you're not comfortable with the full open back, you can just cut slits in a small portion of the t-shirt or only at the bottom, or short ones on the side just as being decorative, but I want this to be a full open back t-shirt. I'm going to start by actually cutting off the hemline at the very bottom of the t-shirt. Throw that aside and then start cutting the slits. So I'm going almost all the way to the middle, where the middle seam would be if this t-shirt had a middle seam, leaving maybe 4 centimeters or so. And I'm making these strips as thin as I did with the ones up top. And then up here, by the shoulders. I'm leaving the top to make sure that it kind of holds together a little bit more. The next step now is to go ahead and repeat what we did before, which is tug each and every one of those straps and turn them into more spaghetti-like straps. And then I'm leaving this thicker top one untugged. Then you can flip it back the right way and try it on to see if you're happy with it this way or if you need to do a little bit more tweaking. So in trying mine on, I, as always with these things, realized that I really don't like it when it's all loose under here. Like this does not look good to me. So I'm gonna cut my strips a little bit thinner up here and hoping that that'll take care of this problem. But you can totally wear it like this, especially if you like pull it down off of one shoulder and just, yeah, it looks a little bit better like this. So I'm just gonna take off a little bit off the side here. And please be careful if you do this as well, because if you're unlucky, you could cut through the slits in the back and then it's gonna be ruined. So make sure to check that both sides are covered. Actually, it might even be easier if you just flip it so that you have the back facing upwards. Okay, here we go. I think I'm gonna cut off half of these and see if that makes it better. And then again, to match that for the other side, I'll take the piece that I removed and then place that over here to make sure that I cut the same. All right, let's try it on again. Okay, so I like the fit a lot better now and I'm ready for the final step. And for this, I got out a bunch of different sized safety pins, which I'm gonna use for two reasons. Number one, we're gonna get rid of the loose thing right here by pinning these two together and then pinning down the side, which makes this a little bit more fit, and it does get a little bit more of an interesting texture down here because you will get some folds. And then just take like this flappy piece that's left over, and then fold that down, and then using safety pins as far down as I need to keep it in place up here. I don't mind the safety pins showing, by the way, because I really like safety pins, but if you don't, you can try to pin them carefully from the inside. As a final little extra thing, I'm going to be using the cut-off sleeves to make wrist cuffs to go along with the tee or the new top. So what we have to do for this is to cut off the sleeve seam, which still remains from the t-shirt. Unlike with the t-shirt, for the wrist cuffs, I actually want to keep the original hemline for the sleeves. So they're going to go at the top. In order to make these rather large sleeves fit my wrists, I have to cut them open. And I'm going to do that by cutting off this seam right here, which is the one that goes into the armpit. Okay, I'm starting by just cutting it off, but I am going to need to cut off more than that. So I'm going to open this up and wrap it around my wrist to see how much I'll need to take off. Because we want this to be able to stay on by itself. So I think something like this is good. And then cutting, and I'm not cutting straight ahead, but rather following the line here. Now there are two different ways to do the next step. You can either cut your slits into the open end right here and then tie them together, or you can cut them in the non-open end and then close this open side by using pitting needles or sewing. I'm gonna do the first option. And then cut almost all the way up, but not all the way up. And thin strips, you guys. And then again, give each strip a good tug to get that spaghetti effect. And then like we did with the shoulders of the top, I'm just going to start tying them back together again. And then for the thick strap, again, you can sew it together or you can use a safety pin. And then once off, it gives this sort of spine-ish feeling. And you can decide if you want that to go on the top of your hand or if you want to switch it around and let it go on the bottom and have it like this on the top, whichever way you prefer. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.